Hi, everybody. Michelle Cameron, CEO of Drinkage Promotions and INAC, Indigenous Nations Apparel Company. We are here today to meet with two fabulous entrepreneurs. This is Niña Wašté Events. They have a really great company that you should search out, and if you need, they have a really great service to offer. So we're going to get started, and I'll let the ladies introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody. Do you want to go first, actually?
Okay. Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Tannis and Smoke, and I'm from Dakota Plains First Nation, and I reside here in Winnipeg.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rayel Smoke, and I also live in Winnipeg here, and I'm from Dakota Plains First Nation.
Can you tell me a little bit about your business? Because I love your business and I think it's really fabulous. I just think more people need to hear about it because the creativity you've put in there and really encompassed our Indigenous culture into your business is really important. So I think that's something we need to share. And so if you could tell us a little bit about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so our business is called Niña Wašté Events, and Niña Wašté translates to really good in our Dakota language. So really good event. So really good events is something that we aim to bring to everybody. And we have 16 giant, large lawn games available on our website that we rent out to communities, organizations, schools, and anyone if they're just having a birthday party. So personal parties as well, family barbecues. But we have a game that represents kind of Indigenous people and who we are. It's called Who Dis, which is a version of Guess Who. It's giant, of course, but we made 19 Indigenous cartoon characters in there for representation. And we have people in regalia and in their outfits. And it's something really special and unique to us because when we take these out to communities, especially the First Nations communities, and you get to see children, youth, or even elders see themselves in a game that they've never seen before and get to ask questions that relate to them when it comes to regalia and how they look and their appearance and what they're wearing. So it's really special to have that component in one of our games.
I love the fact that you guys incorporate our culture into your games because growing up, we didn't see that, right? We couldn't see ourselves in games or mainstream or anything really in stores, in commercials. So what you're doing is a really amazing thing for our community because now we can actually visualize, and it's really exciting to see that we can have our faces on things like a board game, right?
Yeah.
We're going to dive into a few questions I have for you. What is something that completely went wrong at an event, and how can you laugh about it now?
Well, we were doing a lot of things from memory.
Yes.
The way we pack up our games and get them ready for an event. And this was pre-checklists, which we do now have. And we went to an event. Thankfully, it was really close to home. And we were setting up and we were missing some pieces. So we ended up having to, go back home really quick and grab those pieces. And we were still set up before we were supposed to. But it was definitely a moment where we were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we forgot this. And we're like, we need checklists.
Yeah. Well, it's something like in business, nothing is ever a sure thing. And we were talking about this earlier about how you have to be agile in business and everything is not foolproof. You're always going to learn from mistakes, right? And today, like I've been in business for 14 years, we're still learning today. Like there's something that we can always do better or learn more. So yeah, it's awesome. Rayel, what is the most unexpected thing that you've learned building your business?
Unexpected would definitely be the power of networking. It's not something that we knew right away. Our minds kind of would have went to, marketing yourself online, but we were able to gain a little bit of that skill in a previous job and kind of mold it into what we needed it for Niña Wašté. But yeah, the power of behind getting to see someone face to face and shake hands and give them your business card, that's gotten us probably some of the most opportunities so far.
I'm glad you touched on that because and when you're in business, a lot of people don't realize the power of networking, the power of telling your story, who you are, what your business is, and not even just online, but it's people connecting who you are face to face. And I know during COVID, we had to do a lot of different things and everything went online. But for me personally, with my business, I still want to meet with somebody face to face. If there's an opportunity, I find there's that personal connection. You can tell your story and share who you are, and it comes out, and you can hear it in when you guys talk about your business, the passion you have for your business. So I admire that, because if you're passionate about what you do and who you are, you're that much more successful. Because people get into businesses and they just want to do business to do a business. And there isn't that drive and that passion that's there. And sometimes it's sad, but some of those businesses don't succeed. So I find when you're very passionate about what you do, that comes out in every day, and you can see it in your face, hear it in your voice. And so you can make that connection when you're networking. So networking is such a powerful tool when you're an entrepreneur, because that's what sells who you are. Branding is super important, right?
Yeah, there was a time during networking where we would go into a room and we were the ones at the back, and we were like, who do we talk to?
Shy.
We're very shy. And now we can go in a room and invite people, to come and speak with us that might be the ones at the back that are shy, and to try and engage in conversation first. So it's definitely, we've come a long way since we first started networking.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You can see that you've changed quite significantly since when I first met you guys. So I'll ask you this question because you're already holding our Indigenous mic. Has there been a moment when you thought, this is exactly why I do this?
It's every event we host. We get there, we get to set up our games, and then, when the event starts, we get the people that come out and they start playing and they start having fun and they're joking, and there's joking going on when people are playing who dis, like that looks like my uncle, and saying all these things. And it's those moments. Rayel and I always have a few moments that day where we just look at each other and we're like, they're playing our games. They're having fun playing our games, and our idea is no longer just an idea, it's a business. And we're just so thankful for that. But it happens at every event that we host.
Sure, yes.
It's just like how are we here now? So,
Yeah.
But that's really great though, because you're living your dream now, right? You've taken it from an idea and implemented it to a successful business, which it is today. And it's so rewarding when you see people enjoying the fruits of your labor, because people don't realize what goes into starting a business, keeping it going. And it's moments like those that drive you to go farther, keep going, right? Because as an entrepreneur, especially in the beginning years, like you question, why am I doing this? Is this worth it, right? And I know I've had my share of those, but it was those moments like that, exactly that kept me going. It's just like, this is why I love doing this. Yeah. Or when you see people wearing your product, for me, it's like, oh, I love that, because we're instilling and encouraging people to accept their culture and be proud of who they are. Because as an Indigenous person, we weren't always proud, right? We were ashamed of who we were. And like, it's becoming not a trend, but we're becoming proud people. And that's who we should be. I should have been proud of who I was from the day I was born, but it took me many, many years to get to that place. But today I'm there. And people ask me all the time, if you go back and change anything. And I say, no, I don't. As much as I've been through many things throughout my lifetime, I wouldn't change a thing, because it took me 48 years to get here. And I'm pretty darn proud of who I am and where I've come and how far it's taken me to get here. So I love what you guys are doing for the Indigenous community. So it's really special.
Thank you.
Rayel, I'm going to ask you a question now. What does it mean to you to lead an Indigenous business today?
It means that we get to inspire other people who are not ready to make the leap, or thinking about making the leap, or only have their idea on paper. You know, maybe they get inspired by us and our success and things that we are doing. And we love going out there and kind of meeting new people and encouraging them when they are thinking about taking that step. And this is a great question because based just on that topic alone, for us, that person was you.
Oh.
And in 2023, it was May, I believe, or right around there, SEO hosted a economic reconciliation business forum, and you were speaking there. And we had never met yet, and we had heard who you were before, and we knew you were doing big things, but we were there with a booth for another company, and we were able to go in and listen to you speak, and we knew you were speaking. And we sat there and we listened to you the whole time, and we kept looking at each other and being like, oh my gosh, this is so moving, so powerful. And every time you told one of your stories, we were like glancing at each other, because this is something that was so inspiring to us, and to see it and feel it and hear your story. We left there that day and we got to work. It lit a fire in us. You inspired us so much. And about a year later, we opened up our business, and it's because we got to see you and you inspired people. So we think that's something that is important to us as well, to be able to give back that inspiration to other people.
Thank you for that. I'm like just tearing. I'm not even gonna look at the camera now. I'm just all tearing.
Yeah, I was trying to say that with the non-shaky voice.
But that's the power of doing what we do as entrepreneurs. That's the power and the gratification that we get for taking that step. And it's literally a leap of faith, because when you get into business, you never know if you're going to succeed, if you're going to fail. And most times people fail. As an Indigenous entrepreneur, people tell me all the time, it's okay to fail. And not for me. And I say that because people expect us to fail. People expect failure. And as an Indigenous entrepreneur, we're under the limelight all the time. And it's just like, there's that expectation. It's just like when your mom tells you, no, you don't touch that, don't do that. Like, I want to touch it, and I want to do that now because you told me. So I have adapted that mindset for myself. Like, I'm not going to fail because people expect me to fail. And that drives the Indigenous economy. That's what drives some of us to succeed, because there's that expectation, and we're going to prove them wrong. And you're doing that every day, right? And so when you get an opportunity to share your story, like, I'm so glad that it was me for you guys, and now you do that for somebody else. And so that's just going to change the Indigenous economy. We're going to have more Indigenous businesses, because now we see what success looked like, right? When we grew up, we didn't see a lot of Indigenous successful companies. That's not a true statement. Today, we look around and there's so many. So now we've got to put people like you, people like other companies in front of youth and people to inspire them to look, we did it. Despite all the things we've gone through as Indigenous people in life, we can come out and we can survive, and because we're resilient and we're strong. And so we just need to be that face for somebody else and hear their story. I think I rambled on. But Tannis, what do you think why do you think reconciliation still matters, and how can it go beyond symbolic gestures?
Reconciliation matters because it brings much needed healing. So personally for us, we grew up in a household where our parents attended day school and our grandparents attended residential school. But at the time, we didn't know. It wasn't something that was talked about in the home. We had heard about it, not a lot of anything about it, but just that it existed. And it wasn't until, we were younger adults that we started to learn, and our parents would talk to us and share some things. And not long ago, I helped my parents do their day school paperwork. So, you know, a bunch of memories and that they didn't want to, you know, relive and bring up, and that I wasn't even aware of. So it was a very heartbreaking experience to do that with them, knowing that my parents were just children and all the stuff that they have went through, and then hearing, you know, stuff that their parents had went through at residential school. So it was a very sad experience, and tough. It was very tough. But they trusted me to do that with them, and they need to heal. You know, we all just need to heal. There's so many things that come along with that trauma, and so healing is definitely the top of the list for me.
Thank you for that. It's this reconciliation means a lot of things to a lot of people, and I always, when I'm asked this, what does reconciliation mean to me? I speak on what does it mean to me as an Indigenous person, and for me, reconciliation is truth and understanding, and I have to reconcile with myself first before I ask you or you to reconcile together. We have to understand what our truth is, where we came from, what the history of, because growing up Indigenous, many of us don't understand what our parents went through. So, and what did that mean? What did they go through? Because like my mother doesn't share, and that's okay. I had to dig deep, and I had to understand what it was, because we didn't learn about it in school. What does reconciliation mean? So I had to come to terms with my own truth, what I went through from generations, right? And so I had to have an understanding. So now I can speak to others and tell them, you have to have truth and understanding to reconcile. And so, and I think that's what's happening. I see a big change now, and it's nice to see people participating in reconciliation. And so when I tell people what they can do, find out, do what I did. I couldn't even find out for my own family. I had to ask questions, and I had to understand what did they go through? What did my family go through? And so from there, then I can accept and move forward, because that's how we heal. We have to understand first, because when you're going through something traumatic or heartbreaking, you just want someone to hear your story. And you can share and talk about it and get it out. And then that's part of the process of healing. So now for the elders and the people that have gone through residential school, that's their healing process. And now they're being heard.
Yes.
Right? So now they can start the healing process with themselves. So thank you. Rayel, have you witnessed moments of healing or understanding, maybe through your events or client interaction?
I have, yes. Just to jump back on some things that we talked about in the beginning, when we bring our games out to communities, we get to a lot of these communities we've never been to before, so we're able to visit for the first time, meet the people, meet the members, meet the children, meet the elders. And there was one event in particular that I just think about all the time. Is we went up to Fisher River for a few days and we played games with the whole community. It was during their treaty week, and kids were playing games all day, but there was, at the end of the day, I think on our last day, 2 elders came up and they played our game, Who Dis? And they got an audience right away, and there was kids and the adults and everyone watching them play, because you could tell like these were elders in the community and people know them, and it was special to them. And you could feel it, and they're clapping and laughing, and it felt truly like a healing moment. And so that's something that definitely stuck with me in our first year. Another one being, we went to a women's gathering in Rolling River, and we were able to bring a bunch of games out for them to play. And again, witnessing all the women together, you know, playing games, healing, and they do a really great women's gathering out there, and they set up tents and things like that for the women and all these activities. And that was another like beautiful moment of healing that we were able to witness, just bringing our games out to community.
Oh, beautiful.
Can I add to that?
Just recently, we've done a lot of work with the Seven Oaks School Division, which we really care for. So my daughters are in that school division, and I remember when my oldest was in middle school and elementary. They were really starting to dive into what reconciliation looks like, and they have Pow Wow Club and all this other stuff in language classes, and so it made me feel really good, and especially for my kids. And a more recent thing that's come into place is they host treaty weeks, which I wasn't aware of. So they invited us to bring our games for their treaty week at Edmund Partridge School, and the whole week they had planned out with different activities. There was the Ivan Flip Memorial Dancers. They had hoop dancers. They had people come in and sing. They had, they served foods, and it was all Indigenous related. And then they had us come with our games, and just seeing all the children, come out and playing our games and enjoying the week. They really enjoyed that treaty week, and it was just so cool to be a part of that, and that it's actually an event that they do every year now. So that was really cool.
That is cool. It's especially Seven Oaks, they've really adopted the Indigenous community, and my son as well. They attend Seven Oaks School Division, so I love their programming, and it's great that they're really sharing and our culture within the school. So it's great that you do that. It's amazing. One last question. There are people watching who want to be part of reconciliation but don't know where to start. What would you say to them?
I guess if someone was completely unknown, I would send them maybe to Orange Shirt Society online. There's a lot of good resources on there, stories you can read, programs that you can get into. Another part for reconciliation that people can do and work towards is giving their business to Indigenous businesses. That would be a good way to support the community and support bringing up the Indigenous community. Also to take the time to read all the calls to action. I think that's very important for anyone living in the area, living in Canada, is to read the actual report and see where, you have concerns or questions, and ask those things, and I guess be a good ally. And, if you're putting on an orange shirt on September 30th, don't just wear that shirt for the one day. Wear that shirt inside your heart every day when you go to work, when you're in school, when you're around others. Keep that same spirit within you that you're taking to Orange Shirt Day. Live that Orange Shirt Day all days of the year. I think that's important.
I'll add something to it because I'm glad you touched on it a little bit. When people ask me how they can participate in reconciliation, and I'm going to touch on the piece that is about business. I tell people, Indigenous or non, it's so important that you support an Indigenous business, and I'm going to tell you why. When I first started my company, I made products, I printed products with Indigenous artwork, and we would go around and we would sell product to people. And in the beginning, it was difficult because as an Indigenous business, a lot of money to start, and you don't know if you're going to make it. So I would literally take my rent money and I would invest it into enough product to take to an event, to sell, to showcase who I was in my business. And when I sold something, if it was 5 hoodies, whatever, I made $200. I'm like, oh, I can buy groceries. That's enough to buy groceries for my kids. Or if I made $1,000, that's enough to pay the rent. And people don't realize the power of supporting Indigenous business, because it's more than just groceries. It's more than rent money, but it is instilling hope in that person when you don't know what they went through to get to that moment. The that might have been the day they wanted to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
That may have been the day they wanted to give up. And supporting that business meant instilling hope and keep them going, because, okay, I can do this, right? But it's, so you're helping contribute to the success of an Indigenous company. And I say that to people when they support our company, it's more than supporting me, but now we employ 40 employees. So now that's 40 families that we support, but it goes a little further than that. It's you're supporting a successful company. You're contributing to the success of that company. So now other people can look to other Indigenous people. It's like, she did it, I can do it. You guys are doing it, we can do it too. So you're building up that momentum and supporting Indigenous business. So when I tell people when they want to participate in reconciliation, truth and understanding, absolutely. Orange Shirt Day, absolutely. Participate in an event, a walk, even take 10 minutes and research and read an article, talk to an elder, see what we went through as Indigenous people, but take it a little further. Let's follow reconciliation in action by supporting Indigenous businesses, because there's so many that they can support. If you have a product that you need or a service you need, reach out, find an Indigenous business to support, because that is what's going to make change.
Yes.
Yes. So that is it for our questions. I want to thank you both for coming out today and participating in our first video. And you guys came to my mind first thing, and I want
Thank
to.
you so much.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer having you ladies do this with the first for me. So thank you so much for coming, and thank you everybody for tuning in to our first vlog. Many more to come. And if they could reach out to you, how do you get in contact with you?
So our website is Niña Wašté Events.ca, NINAWASTEEVENTS.ca.
You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Yes.
So be sure to check them out. Again, amazing company. Go watch their videos. You'll see all about their business and book them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay!